more incest, more twincest, and a hell of a lot of crossbows, we saw Game of Thrones, The Last of the Starks. Let's get started. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello world, I'm Andrew Fantasia. Welcome to Thumb Together TV, and today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. And there's going to be spoilers all over the place, so you have been warned. Don't watch this till you watch the show first. After a battle as massive as the one we got last week, I wasn't expecting them to dive right into like serious confrontation again so soon, and for the most part they didn't, but the episode really threw some turns in there that made everything so much better than I think it's been all season. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We start off with a funeral because that is fitting, right? When a lot of people get killed in a fight, y'all have to stand around and pay your respects and have a little bit of a funeral for them, and we get a glorious, chilly, Westerosi funeral with fires burning and stuff. That's probably why they burn bodies in the north for funerals. You know, all the White Walker lore aside, you want to warm up. So it's like you can be warm and have a funeral at the same time. Win-win. And everybody stands around mourning the dead. And I get that it's a funeral, so in this case they're allowed to. But, you know, after the 15th consecutive episode of seeing everybody wearing black all the time, it really made me harken back to the early days of the show when people actually wore, you know, colors. But I digress. We got a beautiful funeral scene, and it's followed by an even more beautiful party scene. Everybody's partying like there's no tomorrow, because, again, that's what you do when you just did what these people... If I was part of a group of folks, okay, who killed a magical army of ice zombies, if I lived through that, which, first of all, I wouldn't, but if I had miraculously somehow pulled my ass out of the line of fire and lived through that kind of battle, I would be the first to suggest, hey, let's celebrate. Let's put some food on the fire. Let's sit down. Let's fill our bellies. Let's probably run off to the back with somebody and just get laid, because why not? And that's exactly what happened for the first, God, I want to say 20, 25 minutes of this episode. It was just party central. Winterfell was the place to be. It felt like Animal House up in there. There was just fornicating and drinking going on everywhere. Mead, Giant's Milk, Starbucks lattes, apparently. Hell, the celebrations were so ginormous that Brienne of Tarth actually got it on with Jaime Lannister. She lost her V-card. It was great. It was fun. It was sexy. And then what happens? Then what happens is that the plan gets underway fairly quickly for them to march south now and take the fight to Miss Cersei Lannister herself. And that's precisely what a lot of the characters do. But here's where I'm a little bit baffled. I don't know why not everybody seems to be going down there. Okay, I get it. You know, Sansa's not a fighter, so she stays in Winterfell. But it just felt like the groups that went did not do so in a military kind of march. They just kind of scattered and did their own thing. And I'd like to watch the episode again and sort of figure out why that is strategically, because I really don't get why they didn't just all just go down there, set up camp at Dragonstone together and then march on King's Landing as one. But I digress. Daenerys takes her dragons and her homies to Dragonstone, and they're pretty much right on the doorstep when all of a sudden the most shocking moment that we have had, I want to say all season, Euron Greyjoy shows up with a fleet of his pirate assholes, and they shoot the scorpion crossbows, and they kill Viserion. The dragon gets like a bunch of crossbow bolts in the face, in the neck, in the chest, blood everywhere. It's down. The dragon's down. Daenerys has one dragon left, and she's pissed. I'm pissed. I can only imagine how she feels. And then Euron opens fire on all the ships that are coming in, and the crossbows just rip them apart, and everybody has to dive into the water and wash up on the shore. When they wash up on the shore, Missandei's gone. I was like, okay, that's not good. Missandei's my girl, okay? She is my home girl. I will not be happy if I see anything bad happen to her. Spoilers, something bad happens to her. So everybody regroups in Dragonstone, and Tyrion and Varys have this really deep heart-to-heart conversation, and Varys is trying to warn him that, things might have to change here, because from the looks of it, Daenerys Targaryen is a very volatile human being. And if history has taught us anything, it's that very volatile human beings don't make the best monarchs. See Aegon Targaryen, the Mad King. See Cersei Lannister. See Queen Elizabeth II of Windsor. Oh, burn! I kid. I love you, Liz. You were great in The Crown. Tyrion doesn't like these treasonous thoughts. He's like, nah, man, I love my queen. I support my queen. But you can see in his eyes, he's losing that faith pretty fast. He's sipping down his wine, and he's almost trying to convince himself as much as he's trying to convince Varys. Tyrion knows deep down in his heart, because he's a smart man, that Daenerys Targaryen is starting to crack. She was this beautiful golden egg full of promise and potential, but that egg is starting to crack, and the yolk is starting to spill out, and we're starting to see that inside, that egg might be a little bit rotten, maybe, just a little bit petty, I don't know. But she's not looking like a good choice for the throne after all. Now, Varys knows the truth behind Jon and Daenerys' actual relationship because Tyrion told him, and Tyrion was told by Sansa, who was told in confidence, alongside with Arya, by Bran and Jon. So clearly keeping secrets is not the Starks' strongest suit because, Bran tells it and then Sansa's off running her mouth, in 5 seconds flat. So what's interesting now is that this word is spreading out everywhere and it's only a matter of time. And I really can't wait to see how this divides the heroes because it is absolutely going to divide the heroes. Not just physically, because they're already divided physically, but allegiance-wise. Then we find out that the reason Missandei went missing is because Euron Greyjoy and his band of pirate assholes have kidnapped her, and they take her back to the capital. And they take her back very quickly. This isn't seasons 1 and 2 anymore, folks, where it takes a long time to get anywhere. Euron Greyjoy was on Dragonstone in one scene and in King's Landing in the other. The dude gets around. A lot of time passes between cuts. We just have to get that into our head. A lot of time passes when the camera cuts. Euron is standing with Cersei, and Cersei's rocking this battle outfit, which really sort of hammers home the point that the villains of Game of Thrones love metal shoulder pauldrons. It's just the thing that they like. And Cersei, being the hateful, hateful monster that she is, has pretty much shielded herself with her own people in a sort of like, oh, if you want to hurt me, Daenerys, you gotta hurt all these innocents first, because that's the kind of person Cersei is. She's just wonderful. She's just a wonderful human being. Just so full of love and joy and compassion. And of course, they have Missandei captive, and they take her up to this ledge overlooking the gates to King's Landing, and I don't like the looks of that ledge one bit, because they're making Missandei stand on the edge of it. No, I don't like this. I don't like where this is going. And Daenerys rolls up with her very small posse because they're just kind of there to parlay. And Tyrion walks up to be the messenger because he's hand of the queen. And Qyburn comes out of the castle to be messenger because he's hand of the other queen. And the two hands shake hands, kind of, metaphorically. And they're like, please surrender so we don't have to fight. And the other hand is like, please surrender so we don't have to kill your friend. And neither side is budging. Tyrion tries to appeal to his sister's good nature, ignorant of the fact that she does not possess any, and she pretends to kind of, take his words to heart, and then she just kind of turns to Missandei and she's like, any last words? And she looks out at Daenerys and she screams Dracarys, as if that's her giving her blessing, because Missandei has kind of been a peacekeeper too, and she wants to make sure the queen makes the right decisions, but she in that moment gives her blessing to Daenerys Targaryen. She's like, girl, light this place on fire, burn it to the ground, make sure this woman gets the worst of it. And that's the episode. Now, these final 2 episodes are going to be really exciting. I love the way that this played out. I love the way The Last of the Starks played out, because now we know there's conflict happening here. But the fact that they split up, baffling as it was to me, is good, because now Jon and his group, wherever they are, unless a raven has gotten to them, which I don't know if it has, they don't know that Missandei got murdered and Daenerys is now really mad and she's just going to burn King's Landing up. So they're going to show up and be shocked and be like, whoa, what's going on, Daenerys? Why are you killing every soul in the kingdom? What's happening? That's going to lead to some interesting, juicy conflict. Then on the other hand, we got Arya and the Hound. They're doing God knows what. They just took to the King's Road. They didn't tell anybody they were leaving, it looked like, and they're just off on their own sort of road trip with some unfinished business. Clearly, the Hound wants to go after his brother. I think Arya wants to go after Cersei. Like, it's just, they are single-mindedly driven. They don't care about war and politics. They're just getting their revenge. They're on a vengeance quest. That sounds like a really good name for like a steel band, Vengeance Quest. I'd listen to them. for like 5 minutes, and then I'd put on Michael Bolton. And Jaime's going back to King's Landing to be with his sister because he loves her, so Jaime might kind of be a bad guy again, which is a really interesting twist. I was expecting full out that Jaime was going to be the one to take down Cersei, but if he's going back to protect her, that just adds a whole new monkey wrench into the equation. I love that. I don't know where that's going to go. So I'm very excited to see these groups come together again in King's Landing and see how they react to everything that's going on, because, oh, that'll be dope. But that has been Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks. 2 left, guys. 2 episodes left in this show. A show we've been watching for 9 years now, and it's almost over. That's sad, man. That's really sad, but it's okay. HBO's still cranking out good stuff. We're going to be all right. We have 2 more hour-and-a-half long episodes of goodness ahead of us before all is said and done. So that's it for me. I'll see you back here again, same time, same channel, to talk more Game of Thrones. Until then, everybody, adios.